Hello there. You'll soon need to prove you've been vaccinated before getting on a plane or a train in Canada. The government announced new details of their promised vaccine mandate this week. Federal workers will also need to get a COVID-19 shot, or they will be put on leave without pay. Work on this plan has been underway for a couple of months now. Transport Minister Omar Alghabra is here this morning to tell us more. Nice to see you, Minister.
Good morning, Rosemary, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your viewers.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. What is this going to look like for Canadians, do you think, Minister? Is it going to make travel complicated, longer? Are people going to be impatient with this?
So first, Rosemary, let me take you and your viewers back to where we were. A year and a half ago, we had almost everything shut down. We had a global pandemic, an economic crisis, particularly those in the aviation and tourism sector. There had zero customers, practically zero customers. And because of all those public health measures that were put in place to protect the health and safety of Canadians. Thankfully, now we're seeing high vaccination rates and uptakes, and we're seeing that, as Dr. Theresa Tam said a couple of days ago, we're seeing that a decline of the infection rate, but we cannot take our eye off the ball, and we need to finish this fight against COVID. So what we are now asking Canadians, those who are traveling, to be fully vaccinated by October 30th, and we're also asking those who work in the aviation transportation sector to be fully vaccinated. And to answer your point, our goal is to make sure that we have a safe workplace so people can feel safe when they're traveling. I'm familiar with individuals who've been looking forward to traveling, but they're worried about getting on a plane because they're not sure if they could contract COVID. And also, hopefully this will encourage those who've been reluctant or hesitant to be vaccinated to let them know that it's really important for the safety of themselves and those around them to be vaccinated.
I want to ask about the federal government's vaccine certificate, but first let me ask about how this is going to work in the meantime, because each province obviously has its own vaccination system, QR codes, paper copies, whatever. So how is that going to work for airlines and rail employees? They're going to have to develop something in order to verify them because your system is not up and working yet.
So just to address the point of the proof of vaccination, we are diligently working with provinces on and working with them on issuing a standardized proof of vaccination that is synchronized across the entire country, no matter which province or territory issues it. And that work is ongoing very quickly. In the meantime, travelers who are about to book a flight or a train, they're expected to upload the provincial certificate that they have when they're booking or making that booking. And then the travel agent or the gate agent would perhaps ask to verify and to see the certificate itself.
So it happens even before you get to the before you get to the train station or the air station. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. You said the proof of vaccination, you're working very quickly. You'll forgive me if I don't think it's quick. It does seem to be taking some time, Minister. So what is the complication and what is the timeline? Are we talking still a matter of months or weeks?
Rosemary, it is the nature of our federation. We had looked at various options on how we can issue that proof of vaccination as quickly as possible. The federal government does not own or have within it the data of individuals, the public health data. So vaccination data resides within the provinces. So now we think the best way, and that is what we're working on, is the provinces will be issuing those certificates, but we're working with them on a national standardized format that includes QR codes, that includes other characteristics that can be synchronized and across the entire country. And I'm hoping will be a matter of weeks.
But what is the holdup? Is it that provinces are not sharing that information? Is it that it's just very complicated to do, as you say, across the country?
Well, we have to, it's ongoing negotiations with the provinces about what is the format, what is the best characteristic of the certificate, what does it need, how can we have it electronically, etc. We also needed to reach an agreement with the provinces on working on that data together. Now, by the way, the direction that we're moving is that the federal government will not have any of that data. We are just working with the provinces on the format, on making sure that there's all the required information will be available. So those certificates can also be used internationally.
Right. Okay, so the federal government would not hold the data. It would still stay at the province's jurisdiction somehow or other. Somehow you're going to do that technically.
Correct. Well, because the provinces and the territories will be the ones issuing the proof of vaccination.
Okay, and sorry to belabor this, but I think a lot of people are still wondering how it's going to work. Are you leaning towards a QR code? It does sound like that's the way you're headed, yes?
Well, it's going to embed within it various technological features, and I'm assuming that a QR code will be part of it, yes.
Okay. All right. The other part of obviously what you announced this week is the mandate for federal workers. I realize that that's only part of your job, but I'll ask you about it anyway. They have to be vaccinated by the end of the month, or they're going to be put on unpaid leave. Again, do you have a sense of how many federal workers aren't vaccinated? Do you know how many people are potentially at risk of facing this unpaid leave?
I really don't have a sense yet. I can tell you that within the Department of Transport Canada, work is ongoing as we speak. Employees are asked to fill out the attestation, and the latest briefing that I had is that things are going well. So I don't have a sense right now, except to tell you that it seems that the overwhelming majority of public servants have already been vaccinated.
They will not have to show proof of vaccination at this stage anyway. They have to sign an attestation saying they have been vaccinated. Those can be audited, and then managers can ask for proof of vaccination. Why do it that way? Is it a legal reason? Why not just ask for proof of vaccination from the get-go?
I think when you have a large public service that contains almost 300,000, 270,000 employees, and you want to do it as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible, we found that this is probably the best way to get it done as quickly as possible. We will, as you stated, there will be verification and an audit. Will the audit eventually get to everyone, Minister? I suspect we are going to aim to get there. I'll answer that question maybe later because right now we're focused on making sure that we cover as many as possible and that we reach out to every employee to ensure that we have a sense of their status. Okay, back to things more directly related to your portfolio. What kind of support are you giving to airlines and to railways in order to do this, to make this happen for them? We're working very closely with the sectors, with various stakeholders. First of all, let me tell you that the feedback that I've been getting and the department has been getting is incredibly positive. I know you have the CEO of Flair, whom I met with in Alberta to talk about this. Overwhelming support for this initiative. We are working closely with them. We are the regulator, we are the auditor, so we will be supporting them, but also we'll be assessing how well things are going. And are you expecting any sort of legal challenge, either in that case or in the case of public sector workers? Someone who says, no, this is a breach of my charter rights in order to be able to travel freely across the country? Rosemary, this is not the first time that a federal government is using regulatory mechanisms to ensure the public health and safety. We do all kinds of regulations to protect the health and safety of workers and customers. And we always, of course, consult with our experts, with our lawyers to make sure that we're doing everything according to the advice of experts. We feel very confident that we're using the proper tools, that we are on solid grounds, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Transport Minister Omar Alghabra, thank you so much for making time. Again, happy Thanksgiving to you too. Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay. Joining me now, as the minister talked about there, Stephen Jones. He's the CEO of the discount carrier Flair Airlines. Nice to see you.
Good morning, Rosemary. Nice to see you. So
I think the minister sort of stole your thunder a little bit there, but he seems to think you're in favor of what was announced this week. Why don't you tell me where you're at?
Sure. Flair absolutely supports the government's position. I think vaccination is the path out of COVID and all of the terrible impacts it's had on our communities and on our industry.
Yeah, as you said, it has had obviously a disproportionate effect on your industry. Do you think that the mandate is going to help business moving forward in a significant way?
Absolutely. It gives a clear path, clear direction for what's required. And with that, people have the certainty that when they travel, they're safe. And so it's just really going to build the confidence back into the industry. And clearly it's sorely needed.
Yeah, so the minister said that that he and his department are working with airlines like yours to develop this. And it sounds like it's going to happen even before you get to the airport. You do it online, I guess, upload it somehow. Have you started to look at the mechanics of this?
Yeah, we're still working with that, working through that with the government and the other agencies. But there are different points where you can be screened, either on entry to the airport as you go through security or at the gate itself. But we're expecting that everyone that comes to our gate, in the same way that they present ID today, will also be able to prove that they've been vaccinated.
So is the onus on the air carrier? Is it on your company, or is it on, security, border control? Do you have a sense of how that's going to work? Is it everybody working together on that front?
It is everyone working together, but we're prepared for it to be at the gate, at the last point of getting onto the airport. We're prepared to check, as I say, as we do today with ID.
Does that seem like an unfair burden to put on air carriers, or you'll just be able to incorporate it into your workflow?
If need be, we can incorporate it. I mean, it may make more sense for that to be at the security check as you come through. They check your boarding pass anyway today. So that would be another easy point if it is a QR code, just to scan it through there.
You heard the minister there saying that they're still working on their national certificate, with the provinces. I wonder what you think of the fact that we are doing this so late in the game, a national program. I understand the complications of working with the provinces and the data, but from your point of view, would this not have been the solution right out of the gate?
Look, I think Canada's no different to the rest of the world. I think the whole world is really grappling with not only just the pandemic, but how we build our way out of it. And so if you look across the world, there are not many good examples of governments and countries that have got this all sorted already. We're working with them. It'll evolve pretty quickly from here, I think.
It's a pretty short timeline. Will you have enough time to get this in place by the end of next month, or to work with the government to get it in place by next month?
Yeah, I think so. We can move quickly.
Do you have a sense yet of what happens if a passenger has booked a trip with you, shows up, and doesn't have the proof of vaccination? What would happen then? Would they get a refund? How would that unfold?
So, no, if passengers choose to not comply with the vaccine regulations, then there won't be a refund. And that's the same as if someone turned up without valid ID today. Passengers know the rules, and they'll need to comply.
I was talking to the chief of staff for the Windsor Hospital earlier, and they had a mandate at their hospital and had to let a number of people go. More than 60 people were fired. But even more than that, he also said that a number of people were threatened at the senior level, and there was even property damage at some people's homes. Are you worried about backlash towards your employees or yourself?
No, look, I think with more than 90% of eligible Canadians now having had at least the first shot, I think there's a broad-based mandate from the public to push ahead with this. And while there'll be some individuals who'll take a different view and react in the way they choose to react, I think that generally the public are behind this.
And is it, do you think, also just sort of where the world is going, where the market is going?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Vaccination is the path out of COVID.
Last question, Mr. Jones. Obviously, as we said, the airlines have suffered probably more than even most businesses, frankly. Is there anything else you need from the government in order to get back on track?
No, I think we're pretty well aligned. I think that the rules need to be really clear, and I think that starts at the federal level and works its way through the provincial structures. But we need consistency and we need speed. And I think Canada's done a great job on getting levels of vaccination up to world-leading areas. And so we now just need to follow through and get the world moving again, get people traveling. People shouldn't be paying $850 to fly from Montreal to Vancouver. We need to be getting people moving again.
How is business for you these days, Mr. Jones? Is it getting better?
Oh, we had a booming summer. I think people felt that period of relief in August where it was almost like we were out of this.
Yeah.
And so a really booming summer. Things have slackened off a little bit now as COVID has reared its head again and the seasons have changed. But no, it's been good business.
Okay. Stephen Jones, Flair Airlines CEO in Vancouver, getting up very early for us this morning. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.